And good morning, Minecraft. This is Mr. Xarian.
And this is Techrin.
And welcome back to another episode of our SMP series. Today we're getting Bedrock. Yep. Thanks to RotaryCraft, we can actually harvest the stuff. And especially thanks to this machine, the Bedrock Breaker. Which is kind of a pain in the rear end to build, by the way.
To the point of me absolutely hating Kess, because he almost made me go ahead and build him about 4 redstone energy cells.
Yeah, because we're powering this thing with a magnetostatic engine. Nick, you want to join me in my mining cave?
What was that?
You want to join me down in my mining cave?
Sure. As soon as I can hop out of my magic center.
Nice. Because we are eventually, and the reason we want bedrock ingots is because we're eventually going to be working on some ReactorCraft stuff. Eventually. And one of the ReactorCraft machines we need is a centrifuge. Anyone who follows international affairs knows that centrifuges and uranium are kind of a big deal. Over here. You have to take the scenic route down the ladder.
Yep, while I'm doing the recordings, I'm also dealing with server drama, so.
Which is pretty normal, you know?
Whenever you're on a server, you're going to be dealing with drama. That's just one of the fun and exciting possibilities that you get on a server when you have 80 people on and they're all trying to use up every single bit of lag that they can.
Server resources, conservation thereof, silliness.
Yeah. So right now we're having an issue with about 6 or 7 of our players that just happen to like to take up every single bit of resources that they can.
In addition to the continuing issue with CUFH core.
Yeah, I mean, that issue, we had actually gotten absolutely everyone to convert over.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to put down our bedrock breaker. Now, this is me praying that this thing has a 3x3 range in all directions, because otherwise this is going to be kind of complicated. So here's what we're going to do. We need a shaft junction. And we want to rotate it around a little bit. Nick, do you want to break out this wall opposite to where I'm standing?
If you go ahead and give me your hammer.
Oh, that's a project. I'm like, wow, lag must be really terrible because my screw... Oh, wait, that's the wrong screwdriver.
Oh, well then, I should probably clear my bending.
What did you just do?
Thankfully, I didn't do anything bad, but I did start to see fire particles come out of my hand, so...
Oh, Nick.
I've set the server owner's house on fire 4 times now.
Yeah, she was thrilled about that.
Yeah, I heard.
Alright, so here's what I'm going to do, because I always have issues working backwards like this, so I'm going to break this stuff out. We're going to have a hell of a time getting out of here, but that's neither here nor there. We just need a little bit of space, because believe it or not, this thing requires basically 4 magnetostatic engines running full tilt.
Which we happen to have, because Mr. Kasarian just, had fun making me do all of that. Except for he did finally, concede to making the redstone engines himself, or redstone energy cells himself.
I'm not that lazy.
You're still pretty damn lazy.
Input black, output. Yeah, well, output. What the hell color is that? I think that's orange. Input black,
I would not
output
be able
orange.
to tell you.
Yeah, that's it. Shaft junction. Nope, I didn't want a junction there. I wanted my
You want a bevel gear there.
Bevel gear there. There we go.
Then you want 2 shaft junctions in the middle.
Yep. And I want, let's see, that's black to purple, I believe.
Yep.
Black to purple. We're going to do our shaft junctions and spin them. Remember, green input, red output.
Yep.
Shaft junction.
And then you're going to want a shaft junction in front of the one that you're working on right now.
There we go. And shaft junction goes there, and we flip it.
And then you'll want a bevel gear right there.
And that's going to go black to
Purple.
purple. Like that, and then we just move back the bedrock breaker.
Yep.
Alright, so let's put that down there. Okay, and now for the fun part, which is watching a redstone energy cell drain in about 10 seconds. Thank you very much. So
We're just going to clear you an area real quick.
Thank you. So we're going to click that in. Put down our redstone energy cell. Let me get these all hooked up first. Alright, so we need... Alright, torque is taken care of, right? Torque is taken care of, torque is taken care of, torque is taken care of.
This one is incorrectly...
Oh, yep, you're right. That needs
black
to
to purple.
Yeah, the lag caught it. That must be that. Okay, so let's drop down our redstone energy cell. Let's give it output on the bottom, which it is. It is feeding power into these guys. They are starting to turn. However, if we get out our dynamo, our angular transducer, it tells us it's receiving 8.192 kilowatts. All right, that's way less than we need. And yes, the entire system's going to be shrieking at me now because the speeds aren't matched.
They will be soon.
There we go. And thankfully, none of these things actually take power. All right, so we're still not rotating. Let's go up to 512 on all the engines. See, this is unfortunately kind of how I solve problems with RotaryCraft, which is throw power at it and see if it works.
That sounds
We are rotating. We have rotation.
Sweet.
However, look at how fast our redstone energy cell is draining out.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Right.
We need like 8 of them.
Well, I'm gonna have to keep running back and forth between here and my base and swapping out the cells. And I'm hoping it actually does have a 3x3 range and it actually can go down, because otherwise it's just going to spin and not actually mine anything. But we should probably report that it won't try and break the cobble.
No.
It'll only break the bedrock. But we should probably let this thing run off camera, because I think everyone's going to get pissed off at me if I just leave it. They're staring at a spinning thingy.
Okay, well, then we'll be right back as soon as we get some bedrock.
Indeed. And we're back, and we fixed our problem, which is that it doesn't have a 3x3, it has a 1x-whatever range. Now, It's going to very slowly grind away at that bedrock, right? So you have bedrock there, and I'm going to right-click it. Did you already pull the bedrock dust out of there?
No.
Alright, well, once it mines enough bedrock, you have to right-click it and get the bedrock dust out. So it shouldn't be too long. I mean, we have a lot of power draining through this thing. And you can see it slowly grinding away at it. Now, it will not bore through the last layer of bedrock. It won't bore lower than level 1. So we're on level 4?
5.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
4.
So it raises the bedrock levels up until... Okay. In theory, you just have to right-click on this stupid thing to get the bedrock out of it. But it appears to have not mined quite enough for us to do that yet, or something. Or maybe it's not outputting because the bevel shafts are in the way. I don't know.
We aren't sure.
Exactly. But suffice to say, we're waiting until the rest of that thing runs through, and until I have to swap out another energy cell, which will be in approximately 10 seconds. Yeah. And all this
it rips through those things like it's nothing.
Yeah. And all this to get one of my favorite items in this entire mod.
Which is?
The CVT.
Which does?
It is a continuous variable transmission. Basically, you can do anything from 0 to... from a 1 to 1 all the way up to, I think it's a 128 to 1 conversion, speed or power. It never breaks. It only needs 1 bucket of lubricant just to get it going in the first place. You need a bunch of leather for it. So Nick and I may go off and actually start trying to gather some panties off.
Yes.
Trying to gather some leather while we're hoping that that thing continues. Or actually, I'm going to have to babysit this thing now, aren't I?
Yeah, well, you babysit that. I'm going to go and harvest some leather.
All right.
By some method.
Indeed. You know, we can get it through magical crops if we want to continue working on that stuff.
Yeah, I suppose we should, so we can also then get it high enough so we can just grow our diamonds and emeralds and shit.
Well, that's also the reason I started doing bees. Also language.
Oh, yep.
All right, guys, we'll be right back in just a few minutes for you. All right, so we are now... Oops, I need to eat. We now are in possession of our first 4 redstone dust. It looks like redstone. Yeah, we're in possession of our first 4 redstone dust, guys. No, first 4 bedrock dust. And that means we can start making what I wanted to make the whole time, which is a CVT. In fact, we could make 2 of them if we wanted to. And we're leaving our... Oh, darn it, not again.
What?
We need to cover this up, by the way.
Cover what up?
The hole in the floor.
Yeah, you may want to do that. So you don't keep falling through. I haven't ever had an issue with it.
I don't know why, it's just the way I walk through it, I always end up falling down it. Now, how do I get out of my basement? Like, this isn't even my basement. This is like the sub basement.
Yeah, he likes to be a hermit underneath the ground.
I do.
Like, even his main base is still like 2 levels below ground.
Yep.
Well, my base is just kind of sitting there floating above water.
Yep, I'm underground, thank you very much, with my nice door.
You are a mole person.
I'm a computer technician, of course I'm a mole person.
Yeah, you aren't the only one. I just happen to like aesthetics.
I do too. The inside of my bases are getting nicer and nicer as time goes on.
Yes, because who is making you do so?
You.
Precisely.
Alright, now how do I make a standard shaft unit again? Oh, it's in a... You know what drives me nuts sometimes? How half these recipes are on a work table and half of them are in a crafting bench. So we'll put a shaft unit there. We'll do our bedrock dust. And that gets us 4 bedrock shaft units. Now we need some shaft bearings, which are ball bearings, which are 2 HSLA steel.
I just found out that we have 49 seared brick and 17 gravel.
Nice.
Because they were in my chest. I'm not
Nice.
sure exactly why.
Okay.
But we also have 64 coal coke.
Nice.
And almost 60 buckets of creosote oil.
Okay.
Because that's entirely necessary.
Exactly. CVT mount. Shift. Okay, fine. You don't want to shift click in? That's fine with me. So we are getting ourselves our very first CVT unit, which will be used very shortly in another build that we want to do. Oh, circuit board time.
Oh, fun.
You know how many of these I made when I built that,
Sir, I don't even want to know.
that solar panel?
Yeah, I don't even want to know.
By the way, guys, we've switched from solar power to lava power because the server was going to kill me.
Yeah, the server wasn't the only thing.
It was actually... So our base is not very advanced compared to everyone else on the server because we are playing at a reduced rate because YouTube, right? Well, other people on the server... I need another circuit board? Seriously? Other people on the server who've been playing for a whole lot longer than either of us have been playing on this base. They actually...
We're using up less lag than we were, because there are certain glitches that have to do with the current iteration of RotaryCraft that we have on the server, because we're just using straight Monster.
Because most of the people on our server couldn't install a custom pack.
Even if we gave them step-by-step instructions.
And I did a video tutorial or 3.
Yeah, so what I'm working on as well is for 172, because of the jump away from multiple power sources that Forge is going towards.
Feed the
What
beast.
we're going to be doing is I'm going to be making my own pack with the slight help of Mr. Kasarian, as well as I will be making an entire installer so that people don't actually have to do anything.
Indeed. Okay, so we have a CVT unit, right? Everyone I know is probably taking a look at this going, don't...
Yeah, see, that's what I'm doing right now, because I do not understand this GUI at all, and what the belt ratio is.
Okay, so a CVT is a special type of transmission. Pretty much everyone, viewers included, and myself even, are familiar with the standard gear type of transmission. You have one in your car, your motorcycle, whatever, right?
Yep.
Now, a CVT is used on some cars, and what it is, well, most of the time nowadays it's implemented, it's an electric transmission.
Yep.
But it stands for a continuously variable transmission. Basically, there are no gears. There's no first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear. It uses an electric, hydraulic, or belt transmission system. To basically, it's able to, on the fly, adjust its ratio to whatever's required. Now, CVTs were very popular, I want to say, in the 80s, because they were new tech. And unfortunately, they have some downsides. In real life, they tend to be pretty fragile. They break a lot, require a lot of upkeep.
Well,
Thankfully,
yeah, it's using a lot of belts. If you
it's
use
a lot of belts,
then
or hydraulics. Right?
Yeah.
So to use this, we have to make ourselves some belts, because that's how this CVT decides to operate. Belt. So it's just HSLA surrounding leather, or leather surrounding HSLA. If I can get my words right. I can English today. I really. And we're going to ourselves 10. So now what we can do with this thing, if we open it up, is I can say, put my belts in here. Okay? So now you can see I have a belt ratio of 1. I'm in speed mode. Can I set it to 2? Yes, I'm now set to 2. All I have to do is type it in. Now I'm trying to set it to 4 and it won't let me. See how it says 2 in red over here? That's because I only have 1 belt in it, which gives me a maximum ratio of 2. If I add 2 more belts to fill up this next set of slots, let's do this. So now, can I set it to 4? No, because I haven't filled out this entire chain, basically. So I can fill that, I can fill these, and I get...
So I understand where you need the leather now.
Right, now I get up to, I believe I can get up to 16. Yes. No, I get up to 8 is my maximum. 8. 8 is my maximum that I can get up to right now. When I fill this whole thing out, it gets up a little bit higher. Okay?
So in other words, 4 more and you can get up to 16, and then 8 more, and then you can get up to 32, and then 16 more after that, and then you can get
it
up
only
to
goes up to
64.
32. That's the downside of the CVT.
So then why is there 1 more layer for belts?
Because when I fill out this belt layer... No, you're right. I can go to 16 when I fill out this layer, and then 32 when I fill out the entire second block.
Yeah.
Because this one down here...
Yeah.
That's 1 setting. So we need a bunch of leather.
Yep. Which we happen to have a ton of rotten flesh.
Awesome.
So I'll go ahead and get that cooking up, and we have 23 leather that I just tossed into your inventory.
Oh, thank you. Now, the nice thing about the CVT also is there's redstone control.
Oh, that's nice.
So if it's receiving a signal, it can be set to 4 times speed. If it's no signal, it can be set to 2 times speed or 1x torque. So you can actually variably adjust how this thing operates on the fly. And I believe in some versions it can also work as a computer craft peripheral.
Well, that's probably miscellaneous peripherals.
It's actually integrated into RotaryCraft. Has its own API for computer craft.
Well then.
Alright, so what else are we doing? Well, I think we're going to be right back in just a couple minutes once we get this thing fully put together.
Yep.
And we're back, and it's time to end the episode. So, we have a fully filled up CVT unit, because in the next episode, we're going to work on processing nuclear material the reactor craft way.
And at that point, I'm just going to be like, okay, how big of a CVT how big of a containment unit should I have? And it will probably be about 10 blocks thick, just to make sure. Because we've had a few 3-mile islands on the server, and one that was a bit worse.
We had a full-on Chernobyl.
Yeah, we had a full-on Chernobyl that made it so that we actually had to delete the world.
Yeah.
So we haven't gotten into that, and I'm just like, yeah, we're going to be building a very, very large containment unit.
So, before you see us blow ourselves up, this has been Mr. Kassarian.
And this has been Techrin.
And as always, guys, happy mining.